tonight on Bottom Gear. A minivan in a racing game. Is it any good? An SUV in a racing game. Is it any good? A crossover. Guess what kind of game it's in?
Welcome. We are definitely glad to see that you have shifted down into Bottom Gear. Now, this is the first episode of Season 0 because Season 1 is still being worked on and we're not quite there yet. So, this is Season 0. It's going to be a little bit lower quality, and when it's dark, that is going to be the sun. But meanwhile, the sun's over here. So, as was mentioned in our introduction, Gran Turismo 5 is absolutely loaded with cars. Over 1,000, in fact. 1,000 cars. 1,000 different cars to review. Just about. But if there's any car that doesn't fit in this game, it's the family car, the minivan, the SUV, the crossover. Well, Bottom Gear producers gave me a challenge. They told me to go out and buy one of all of those things. One minivan, one SUV, and one crossover. Well, here's what I got. This is the crossover that I bought, which is a Toyota Volts, which is was better known in America as the Pontiac Vibe. It's got 126 horsepower, this one, with a 4-speed manual. Oof. Front-wheel drive, not very actually good, only 126 horsepower. But from the 20-30 seconds I've actually driven this car, I really like this. It's not the fastest thing in the world. The 0 to 60 probably isn't monumental. But to each their own. I think this is a really nice car. Obviously, the speed is somewhere to be desired, but the speed is not where this car is built for. We can come down this straightaway here on Trial Mountain, which is where all three of our cars will be tested. Get up to about 95, then coming up the hill, it loses all of its momentum. Coming down, get to 99, as a little slap in the face. A little understeery, but that's to expect from a front-wheel drive car. This is actually the only front-wheel drive car that we have got for today's special. I personally really like this car already. I've never driven this car before, actually. I've probably driven at least 300 or 400 of the cars in this game. This is one of my favorites. Here, let's take the little jump. Whoa! That was awesome. Do a little hop skipping away. Downshifted. This thing is beautiful. I love it so much. It's one of the first real crossovers, I reckon. Apart from the RAV4, of course, and maybe really just the RAV4. This is probably number 2. And I'm not counting the Pontiac Aztec as a crossover. That was not a vehicle. That was a demon from hell. So, regardless, this is a really nice car. A lot nicer than I had actually anticipated from it. Because I didn't expect this to be, the greatest car of all time. But I didn't expect it to be... I didn't expect it to be an Alpine A310. So, then again, I like this car. Road test challenge? Get to check in my book. I really like this car. Because it just got its own character. We'll take the jump one more time and then... we'll understeer one more time, actually. Here, let's come on down and take the jump. Here, we'll cut it all out, too. We'll just cut the chicane. Let's just forget the chicane exists. Turn off the traction control so I don't get messed up. Here we go! Oh no! Oh! Hell. Oh god, here we go. That should be another challenge. Let's see if it can roll over off the jump. Jesus Christ. Next car. This is the Mitsubishi Airtrek Turbo R. And it's... oh my god. It's the SUV I've chosen for today's challenge. It's four-wheel drive. It's got 210 horsepower. It weighs 1,700 kilos, or 1,500 kilos. It only costs about 25,000 pounds. This thing is just nuts, honestly. It's insane. It's manual, so I can shift up. It's 5-speed manual. So I can have a lot of fun with it. We're going to bring it down straight away. Here at Trial Mountain. Come out of the hill now. There we are out of the tunnel. Up into 4th gear. 103. Come down to the hill. Get 111. Coming down into the final corner. Around shift up into 2nd. Back to 3rd. This thing is an insane bucket of fun. So this is going to be the first lap. We're going to do 2 laps of Tri Mountain in all 3 cars, and then of course this lap we're going to slightly hit the jump, hit the jump. There you go. What? I love that little hill so goddamn much. Don't need to quite get it up into 4th gear through the first turn. It handles like really well for a 1,500 kilogram SUV. I mean, I know it's got a turbo, and it's the only turbocharged car we've got today, but it's still an SUV. These things are still supposed to handle like boats, but it doesn't feel like this one doesn't feel like it does. Gets a little tight sometimes, but it's not bad. It's just the camera. It's not bad. It's a really nice. And I've driven this car a couple times before, but I don't think I've ever driven it on a wheel. I've driven it on controller before. But you get it going around. It doesn't want to slide. That's what I like about this car. It doesn't want to slide. Some cars will want to slide. Like the Triumph Spitfire is infamous for just wanting to kick its tail out. and it's I personally sometimes like it like that. If I've got pedals, which I don't. If I've got pedals, oh my god, I'd love the thing. But because I don't, it's not that fun. This, it doesn't want to do anything. It just wants to drive. It wants to go fast. It wants to be itself. But as is tradition, we're gonna take the jump, full blast. No fucks given. Get it up in the air. Oh my god. There we go. Oh man. I'm still going at nearly full speed. Kick it up into fifth and cruise it out. What a car. This definitely gets a road test approval from me. One other little challenge that I'm gonna put in here. Put it in the tunnel. Oh, yeah, that sounds nice. Now it's time to take a look at the minivan I've chosen for today's show. This is the minivan we've chosen. I think it's the only minivan I could have chosen, and it's a 2003 Honda Odyssey. It's got 160 horsepower, it's four-wheel drive, and it, unlike the other two, has an automatic transmission. Now, the first project we were gonna do, the first one of the challenge set thing that we were gonna do in Bottom Gear Season 0 was 30,000 pound cars with less than 200 horsepower. This was one of the choices that we pulled, but because that was scrapped, we didn't have any use for it, and now I've got a family car project, so we're gonna use it. This one's like really nice to drive. It only weighs 1,700 kilos. I say only. It weighs 1,700 kilos, which means it's really big. It weighs a lot. And with only 157 horsepower and four-wheel drive, I will say, that's one benefit, is the four-wheel drive. It's not a bad car. But to the contrary, this car is like really sorry. It's way smoother than I thought it would be. It's not like loose or tight. I only ran a little wide there because I barely stopped. Now is our time to get the small jump test going. I've actually hit the jump. There you go. Wow. And she skidded. Gave us a nice little slide down there too. But the stats this car puts out they're not the most impressive. This isn't the most powerful car of the day of our three. It's the second most, and it's the heaviest, and it's definitely the longest, and whatnot, and so on and so forth. But it's my favorite. As much as I love the Volts and as fast as the Airtrek is, there's something about this one that just like works, and I love it so much. I think the Odyssey it's not like a ridiculously fast car. It's not fast at all, and it's not the smoothest thing, but it's a very nice car. I do like it, and this one also gets a check on the road test, which means each car at the end of this challenge has 2 points apiece. the next challenge, of course, is the untuned test lap around the Top Gear test track. I have a feeling when we did the 30,000 pounds challenge, we used a different test track then, but we used another track, and this thing was way faster. So we'll have to see how it does around the Top Gear track. But meanwhile, let's send this bitch off. Here we go. Whoa! Oh my god! And there she goes. Come on, across the line. I broke the game. That was nice. That was a good slide. Park right. For God's sake, just park correctly. There you go. So we've got 3 cars and three family vehicles that we've tested. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the money left over from buying these cars on our 30,000 pound budget, and we're going to upgrade them with the money we have left. And then we're going to take them out back to the test track, do another lap around the Top Gear test track, and then see how much faster they are. And there's a point for every second up. So that's going to be a good one. We're going to get to go upgrading these cars. We'll see you then. So there we have it. We've taken a look at the 3 cars that we bought for today's challenge. We've driven them around the test track, and I've actually got the laps right here. The slowest of the 3 cars was the Honda Odyssey. Even though it was the most fun to drive, it was the slowest with a 1 minute 42.5. The second car was the Toyota Volt, which did a 1 minute 41.1. And the fastest of the 3 is the Mitsubishi Airtrek, of course. But by how much? 1 minute 32.1 was the lap time, so 9 seconds faster than any of the other cars, which gives it 2 points. Gives it 4 points to 3 over the Volts. Now, we had full budget to go ahead and take these cars out and see what we can do with them and upgrade them with the money we have left. Now, the Toyota, if we can come down to it down here, just got to find it. The Toyota started with 125 horsepower. It now has 155 horsepower because it had 13,875 pounds to spend. We got, air filter upgrades, ECU turbos, not turbos, but we got plenty of stuff on the car to get it up to 30 horsepower. The second car, of course, is the Mitsubishi Airtrek. It actually, unlike what I said in the road test, it had 234 horsepower. But now, with 9,732 to spend, on top of it being the fast car already, it now has 296 brake horsepower. 4-wheel drive, didn't have any availability to lighten the car, but still, 296 horsepower from an SUV that cost only 20,000 pounds, 30,000 with upgrades. That's a great deal. Now, you go up to the top. Honda Odyssey started with 165 brake horsepower. Now, 198. So, it's really impressive. We weren't able to get any of the weight down, but we still made it look pretty nice, and it's still a pretty good car. Now, we are going to take each of these 3 cars around the test track, and a point will be earned for every second faster than your original time. And then after that, points will be added up, tallied, and the most points will win. Let's go see what happened. All right, getting ready for the Honda Odyssey to start the lap. Revving up, and it is off the line. Good start. See how long it takes to get up to 60. About 7 and chunk seconds, maybe 8. Pretty good speed coming down. You can see the telemetry at the bottom of your screen. Down into the first corner. Swinging wide to get into this long left-hander. Now, coming down to Chicago. Keeps it on the throttle relatively strong. Through the tires. Sweeping through. Very good exit. Coming down the straightaway. Coming towards the hammerhead. Up into third gear. Getting ready and hard on the brakes for the hammerhead. Down as low as 40 miles an hour, even slower, 32. Coming out of the hammerhead very nicely. Not a lot of wheel spin, not a lot of anything from this car. Very bleh as a car. Through the follow through, it's going to be a very high speed corner. Keeps it flat, keeps it working. Now coming down to the tires. Blitzing through there and getting ready to come down to the second to last corner. Long straight here and hard on the brakes. Keeping it nice. Gets on the grass a little bit. Whoa! Now through Gambon and to the line. It is across the line. In a great lap. Alright, the next car up is the Toyota Volts. As car is getting set, ready, and about to go, and firing off the line. 155 horsepower from that four-cylinder modified four-cylinder engine. Roaring down. One of the big upgrades that this car made was put sports tires on rather than the comfort tires it was on earlier. We'll see how much of a difference that makes in the car's performance. Front-wheel drive actually has some very good handling. Test driver said Stiggy said it was a lot better than he had anticipated, and it was even better than what it was in the unmodified lap. Coming down to the hammerhead nice and easy on the brakes. Much faster through than the Odyssey. Through the follow-through. Now, out of the tires, coming down to the second to last corner. Looks like a really nice lap here. Could be up in the high 30s or in the low 30s. Coming around Gambon to the line and across the line. Great lap again. 1 minute 34.972. One lap. Now, last but not least, the Mitsubishi Airtrek is ready, steady, go! This car's lap time was a 132.1 to beat. Again, 1 point for every second it is ahead of its previous lap time. Down into the first corner. This thing is absolutely flying through the first corner. Smoking her up, getting on the grass. Crazy driving. Going down into Chicago. This is an absolute blitzkrieg of a lap already. We're only 3 corners through. Coming down into Hammerhead, over 100 miles an hour into the Hammerhead corner. Isn't able to keep the highest speed through the corner, though. Gets way outside, nearly gets on the grass, but manages it really well. Do the follow through. Not the fastest through that corner. But the speed is just ridiculous. 105 miles an hour through the tires, coming down to the second last corner. Highest speed of 114 miles an hour. Hasn't even broken 120, just broke a minute 20 now. Getting off, sliding through the grass. Coming through Gambon to the last corner, gets off onto the grass again, and across the line. 1 minute 28.0. All right. We've got the results in. The laps are counted. So we'll start in third place. So the Honda Odyssey had 2 points coming into this. It ended up finishing third in this, but it gained 5 seconds, which means it gains 5 points, which means it ends up with where am I here? It ends up with 7 points. The Mitsubishi Airtrek started with 4 points. It went from 32 to 28, gains it 4 points, which gets it 8 points. The Toyota Volts started with 3 points, gained 7 seconds in its lap, which gives it 10 points, and that means the 2002 Toyota Volts is the best family car in Gran Turismo. Thank you, and good night.